Hello and welcome to today's webinar. This is Church360 Unite. Make your website the communication hub for your church. This is an overview webinar of our Church360 Unite platform, and we'll be focusing on that communication aspect of your church website. My name is Peter Frank. I'm the Senior Manager of Marketing Technology here at Concordia Publishing House. I am responsible for a number of different things. I wear several different hats, but probably my favorite hat is working with the Concordia Technology Solutions team and our Church360 products. I've been working with this group since 2012, right at the beginning of Church360. So I really enjoy presenting on this topic. Although today I am not presenting, I am just hosting this webinar. The presenter today will be Ken Olomeyer. He is a Senior Manager of Marketing here at Concordia Publishing House. He works right behind me in the office next door, but of course we have appropriate social distancing. So Ken will be jumping on the webinar in just a few moments. His role is to go out and meet with church workers in their church, talk about what they're doing, learn from them, and bring that feedback back to the rest of us here at the publishing house. He also has an extensive background in advertising and marketing, and so he's been able to combine all of his experience to help churches use tools like Church360 Unite to reach their members and their communities with the gospel. So I'm really excited to see what Ken has to present to us today. A few housekeeping items before we go too far. We are planning about 50 minutes for presentation. There is more than enough to cover in 50 minutes. So we may go a little bit over, but hopefully not, because we want to leave these last 10 minutes for question and answers. That's the real key thing for us, is we want to get your questions answered so that you know how to use a tool like Church360 Unite for your church communications. So we ask you to ask questions throughout. You've already seen, a few of you at least have seen how to use that questions feature in the GoToWebinar panel, but feel free to ask questions throughout this entire webinar. While Ken's presenting, I'll be looking at the questions and responding. And if it's just for you, I'll respond directly to you. And if it's a question that's appropriate for everybody, well, I'll respond to everybody who's in attendance today. We are recording this webinar. We'll be sharing this recording tomorrow. So by the fact that you have signed up, you'll get a link to the recording sometime tomorrow morning. I'll try to get it out fairly early. We'll see how the day goes. A little bit about ourselves if you're not familiar. We are Concordia Technology Solutions, but we are part of the Concordia Publishing House family. The Church Administration Division, as we call ourselves, develops products for churches to use that are tools, digital tools for managing your church. We've been developing software for churches since 1984, which is kind of just mind-boggling to me, because I remember in the early 90s what software was like, the initial Windows 3.1. To think that we were developing software back in 1984 before I was even born is just crazy. But we've got a lot of experience of working with churches to use software to further the mission of the gospel. Now, I always make a few assumptions before we get started. It helps us to prepare a presentation. So I've got a few assumptions about you who are here today. First, I'm assuming you know the basics of church websites. And when I say basics, I mean just what a website is and does. I don't expect you to know how to code or anything like that. But I also don't expect you to be completely unfamiliar with the concept of a church website. I know that Ken's not expecting that either. So there's a little bit of assumed knowledge here, not a lot. Like I said, I don't expect you to know how to code. You don't need to know how to code with Church360 Unite. That's one of the beauties of the software, is that you can create a wonderful church website without knowing things like HTML or CSS. And I'm also assuming that you use a variety of communication tools. You don't have to be an expert at these, but I think every church has a variety of tools they use to reach their members and their community with the different messages. And so we will show you today how to combine some of those tools using Church360 Unite. So you don't have to learn a whole variety. You can just learn Unite to do the majority of the work. So now you get to tell us about yourself. We're not asking about these assumptions necessarily, but I do want to know a little bit more about you. So this first poll question that I'm going to put out there will allow you to tell us what your primary role in the church is. Are you a pastor or an administrator, maybe a tech coordinator or another called worker? You might be in that other category where it doesn't really fit any of those other options. That's just fine too. please go ahead and select which one best describes you. Like I said, I wear many hats. I'm sure you do as well. This is just the one that best describes you. So I'll give it a few more seconds as people are still voting, but it looks like we've got a really nice mix here today. In fact, the more I leave this open, the more we get in the other category. Well, that's pretty fascinating. I'm gonna go ahead and close that poll and share the results with you. If you see here, we've got 40% in that other category. Now, I know some of you I've seen in the chat can't vote. And that, I don't know why that is exactly. We've had that problem before. Go ahead and put in the questions just what your role is, especially if you are in that other. But it looks like we've also got a number in the tech coordinator and administrator role. 13% are pastors and 7% are called church workers. Well, that's excellent. Thank you so much for answering that question. My next question for you is about Unite and whether you are already using Church360 Unite in your congregation. So there's three options there: yes, no, and no, but planning to subscribe soon. This will just help us know if we've got people who are already using it or if you are kind of brand new to the software itself. And it's looking like the majority are in that no area. So we've got, I'm not even going to share these results because it's really easy to say. There's 86% of you who are not. So that helps us know that this is really going to be an introduction to Unite for you. So I won't even ask my last question, which was going to ask about your Unite skill level. So don't worry about that. That's good to know that you are all in that initial stage, or most of you are. For those of you who aren't, I guarantee you're going to learn some new things. We've got a number of new features within Church360 Unite that Ken will be using today as he talks about it. So if you're using it or you're not, you're going to learn something. So just to get you familiar with how Church360 Unite fits within the Church360 software suite, this is one of three options for you. Church360 Members allows you to manage your church members, your attendance, and your offerings. Church360 Ledger allows you to manage your chart of accounts and all of your different transactions. If you're interested in learning more about those, we have overview webinars for both of those on Thursday. I think Members is in the morning and Ledger's in the afternoon. But today we're talking about Church360 Unite, which is our church website builder. Now, saying it's a church website builder kind of sells it short. It actually does quite a bit more than that. It is, of course, your church website, but it's also your blog and your member hub, your file sharing system, your church calendar, master church calendar, and your mass emailing tool. In fact, that's why we call it Unite, because it unites all of these different tools into one easy to use solution for communications at your church. A few other things I like to call out. All of our themes are mobile accessible. So that's a key thing within church websites today, and you don't even have to think about it because all of our themes do that automatically. We also allow you to sync with your church management software if you're using one of our two great options, Church360 Members or Shepherd Staff. You can connect your member information with your member database to be able to have a church directory online and invite people to log in and interact. There's a lot of great tools, and that connection, that sync, makes it that much easier. Now, we do allow you to have a custom domain, and we also provide, as part of the plans, custom domains or custom emails. Now, that's with our higher level plans. You can certainly do that on your own in our standard plan too. But I just wanted to make sure you knew that was available. A custom domain meaning mychurch.org or something along those lines. Now, support and training are also included in your subscription, and webinars like this is part of the training. I just hosted I think it was a 4-part series on Church360 Unite. Each webinar session was about 2 hours, and those are available for free in our resource center. We also have a support team that is happy to help you out with any questions, and an online help center, and other recorded trainings. So there's lots of ways that you can learn Church360 Unite. All right, enough about that. Let's get into today's topic. Our outline will be a quick overview of the software. Ken's going to show you some of the high level features, but then he's really going to get into how to build a simple church website. And some of the things Ken will show you are already established, but he's going to show you some new stuff too, especially as you're using the additional communication tools that we have in Church360 Unite. Then at the end, we'll wrap up with question and answers. And then for those of you who are attending live, if you stick with us till the end, we'll have a special promotional offer for attendees. Now, this is for those of you who are not already customers. There's an additional incentive to signing up today, or at least this month. We'll talk about that at the very end. Again, that's only for attendees who have dedicated time out of their day to learn about Church360 Unite. So now is the time to get started, and it is my honor to introduce to you Ken Olemeyer, who will be presenting today's topic. Ken, I think you are about ready to go. I see your video, so you are all set. I'm going to go ahead and make you the presenter and let you kind of take it and run with it. So thanks so much for being here, Ken. The show is yours.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thanks for the introduction, and thank you, all of you who are taking the time out of your day today to be with us. We really do appreciate it. As Peter mentioned, my name is Ken Olemeyer. I'm a senior manager here at Concordia Publishing House in marketing. And today we're going to talk about what Peter said. We're going to show you how easy it is to make your website a communication hub. And we'll get into what we mean by that a little bit later, but we'll show you how easy it is to build a professionally designed and, as Peter said, mobilely responsive website without any coding. I don't know how to code, so this is great. There's no coding needed. All you basically have to be able to do is text edit and drag and drop and use what you see is what you get. What do we mean by communication hub, though? Now, think about how communication has changed since you joined your church. How many of you remember mimeographing bulletins? What about getting your local Yellow Pages ad together? And how many of you still have to go out into the cold and change the letters on your sign? I'm sure there's a number of you that are still doing that. But now just about everything we do is digital or online. And with the recent shelter-in-place orders that we hope we're all just getting out of right now, communicating with your members in a way that they need is more important than ever. So let me share a quick story with you. As Peter said, I haven't always worked for the church. In fact, I spent the better part of 30 years splitting my time between client-side advertising, advertising agencies, and a market research firm where I really got to learn to better understand customers. And early in my ad agency career, when websites were first coming out, and I'm not even going to say anything about Peter's crack about not even being born during some of this, but this was early to mid 90s, so I think Peter was born. I was presenting a new website concept to a client. And again, this is when websites were all just brand new. And we were talking to three distinct groups that day: marketing, sales, and engineering. And it became painfully obvious as we were presenting the concept that we were all talking a different language. In fact, we were just kind of talking over each other. We all had different ideas of what a website should communicate. For the agency, we were presenting, big flashy pictures that full of color that promoted the brand and the brand image, and marketing was right there with us. For sales, they just wanted catalogs and sell sheets and maybe a few pictures here and there. But what was really important for them was a way for people to find them and contact them. And then engineering just was only concerned with technical bulletins, maybe a few drawings. They just wanted the site to be simple and fast and clean. And I learned a valuable lesson that day that has really stuck with me all throughout my career. You must always be thinking of, or actually as, your end user when it comes to any form of communication, which leads me to today. As Peter mentioned, in my job, I get out and I have the privilege to visit with a lot of pastors and a lot of churches. I talk with administrators, youth leaders, teachers, people just like you with different titles. I notice, I love the fact that we've got a lot of others today, and I'm assuming you're lay volunteers. That's me. I'm a lay person, volunteer at my church, an elder. But how do you think I find these people and find these churches? Well, I do use the LCMS annual and roster, and if I'll just put a quick plug in. If you're responsible for updating that information, please do so. We need that information updated all the time. So, but once I locate them, then what do? I go to Google and I go straight to their website. So how do you think your members or your visitors are finding you and keeping current on what you're doing? Well, I bet you they Google you first, and then they probably go to your website. And the website reflects so much of your church. It can tell a lot about the personality, the vitality, the activities of the church. I love seeing websites that are vibrant and as vibrant as the congregation. The ones that share multi-general activities, Bible studies, devotions, pictures, videos, etc., that really show all the different generations involved. With Members 360 Unite, you can easily build that type of website. So today we're going to take that 30,000-foot view of the program and just show you how easy it is to make your website a communication hub. So what are we going to talk about? What are we going to cover? Well, we're not going to be able to cover everything. And Peter mentioned our resource center. We're not going to spend a lot of time today going through setup and themes and graphics, etc. I really want to just concentrate on maximizing the use and showing how you can do a few things that are just what I find unique to Church 360 Unite. So do visit the resource center. We have a lot of training available to you on just the general use of the website. We're going to cover a lot of ground. Our recommendation is really to go in and try it yourself. If you haven't signed up yet, if you go to Concordia Technology Solutions website, you can see how the Church 360 Unite can really get your church out there quickly, and you can sign up for that free trial. And with the free trial, there's no credit card or needed or anything like that. There's no obligation. You're under no commitment. You've got a full 30 days to check it out, to start building your site. And I'm thrilled that there's going to be a special offer after this, so check that out as well. But during that time, you'll have access to our help and support team, and we are here to help you. In fact, if you think about Concordia Technology Solutions, solutions is in our name, and we're here to help you. We want the software to be successful for you. There's nothing worse than using a new software package or trying to learn new software and getting frustrated with it. We want to alleviate any frustration. So let's get started here. So I'm going to take control now and show my screen. And I'm going to go to this one. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. We're waiting for it. Okay, there you go. I see it on my side. So I'm hoping that everybody sees it. If there's any problems, let us know. But I've already started designing this church website. And for the sake of today's demonstration, I call it Concordia Lutheran Church. As an administrator, when you sign up for Church 360 Unite, this will be the page that you get. You'll get your sign-in sheet, but then as the administrator, this is what you get. And you'll notice a navigational tool on top here. You've got pages, posts, activity, users, themes, settings. These will be here all the time, and this will be where you'll kind of navigate some things through. And by now we're all used to seeing websites. It's much different from the early 90s when I was first presenting websites. We kind of know what we're looking for, and we kind of know the organization that we need. But what things grab your attention when you first come to a website? Okay, now put yourself into your customer's shoes, or your church member's shoes, if you will, or your visitor's shoes. Do you like big pictures? What about news and directions and staff photos? What info do you think is most needed for the visitors, for your members? And these are all easily added in Church 360 Unite. So as we move around to the tabs, we can easily help keep our church organized. I've got worship times, I've got visit, I've got about us, news, ministry, sermons. I'll show you real quickly and briefly how we can add new tabs and do different things like that. But one of the first things you need to do is actually decide, okay, what do I want my site to look like? The first thing is to figure out what you want it to say, but what do you want it to look like? So let's take a quick look at themes. So if I click into my themes, you'll notice under the theme tabs, there are several just straight out of the box designs and looks, but they're also very highly customizable. These are all free for you to use with your subscription. So again, you don't need to worry about knowing coding and design and things like this. A couple of cautions though. You want to select a theme that really just reflects your church's personality or your culture. find one of these that just really just speaks to who you are. And think of the theme as kind of a window dressing or the decorations in your house. The themes give you lots of options. As you say, you see all these presets themes here. Yeah, you want something that's going to be a positive reflection, and that's going to be welcoming and engaging for not only your members, but also your visitors. So we got all these different themes, and you can try them out as you're getting them together, but we do recommend that once you land on a theme, stick with it for a while. It just helps the user experience. It helps kind of build some identity. So you don't want to go changing it up all the time. So stick with one, but find one. But you'll notice that each of these themes, and I'm going to click through a couple of these, comes with a number of preset options. And if I click through any of these, you know, I go on there and then I can take a look, and then you go down to the preset and you just click and hold it. And another window will come up and really kind of show you what it's going to look like. And then that will help you make your decision there and how you want to use it. You also notice down here at the bottom, and I'm going to highlight it because it just kind of gives a little more color to it, but it also kind of gives some description about the theme. It talks about maybe some of the pixel sizes and the pictures that you want to use. So once you come on one that you like, just hit apply theme and it'll go straight to it. So that's it, no coding, very simple. Couple other things I just want to point out. Under browse, you got some other options. So your style options, and I'm not going to spend too much time on any one of these today. Like I said, go to the resource center. We've got a lot of training on some of these, or we've got some more overview that go directly into these. But you see your text settings, you've got your inline settings. We've got a nice little feature here to the right that just kind of talks about how fast your site's going to load because of the fonts. You've got some additional ideas here that you can customize, like your website colors. You also can then go into more of an advanced section. For many of you who don't know coding, like I said, I don't know coding, but if you start to learn coding or you have people within your congregation that can help you with some coding, here's where you can do some custom headers, some custom footers. And then last but not least, if you go into edit, you see nothing there except if you can read the type. Basically, you can clone any one of these themes and then customize it to make it completely your own. And at this point, I do want to put in just a plug as far as a communication tool is concerned. If your church doesn't have a graphic design or a brand standard, this is a great time to put one together. And the reason being is, as you see some of the different things I'm going to show today, you may have different people involved in kind of the design of your site, or you may give them the option to do that. When you have a graphic design standard, it's really freeing because everybody will be on the same page and your design will look good. One other thing I want to mention, you notice down here in the bottom corner, the circle I. This is on every single page as you go through as an administrator. This is our information page, and this is where you can type in questions. So let's just say editing themes. Let's see if something comes up. Oh, so there. I type in and I get some results. You know, how do I select a new theme? How do I customize my theme? But there's also the option to send us a message, and we're here for you on this. So type in, try to provide as much detail as you can to us so that our help support team can, you know, provide the answer to you the first time rather than continue to go back and forth. But we'll do that. Or you can always call us at 800-346-6120. So again, we want to be supportive for you. So let's move on. Let's add some content. And let's click over to my Pages tab. And that's going to pop up. This is some of the content that's on there. So as I said earlier, there's some things that are pretty consistent within websites. So you kind of have a good sense of what you need. So we've got the pages and the tabs, and some of these come preloaded. It's just then going back in and changing some text options for you. So your pages is where your navigation and your content live. And when I say content, that's just a fancy word of saying the communication stuff that your members and your visitors are interested in learning about you. This is where you really have a great opportunity to share and to engage with your members and with your audience, your visitors. This is where you really have that opportunity to make the website a communication hub. So you see two different things here, and I'm going to highlight these as well. You see active menu items, and you see available menu items, okay? be careful not to think of these two designations of things that are on my site and things that aren't on my site. And I'll show you what we mean as we go along. So the active menu items, though, are our headers, our tabs, and then some of the things that are underneath them. And then the available menu items are how we can add some pages or some groups that we're going to talk about a little bit later. And you see two different things up here. You can click add a category, which then goes to your active menu items, and you can drag other things underneath it, or you see add a page. So if I click on add a page, this is where our hub starts to happen. So you see different types of pages. You see a feed page or RSS, really simple syndication page. You see a group page, and we'll talk about groups further, because that really does make this that communication hub. You can start with blank page, just a plain old blank page, as we say here, or you can start adding different things that are really, like I said, preloaded, fellowship, staff, story, and then you can just go through and make some edits. So for today's demo, we're going to go to groups. I want to really highlight groups, and I'm going to close out of here. If I just clicked onto here, so just for instance, let's do this. I'm going to create a page, and you see I put it right there. It clicks in as members only, and there are a couple other things just to highlight here. Down at the bottom, you see publish, make draft, delete, public, private, duplicate. That's how you can control what is an outward facing type of situation where people see it, or maybe a password protected or a members only side. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not going to click through here and save that. So I want to, for time's sake, just go to a page that I've already done. So I'm going to go back to my home page, and you notice again I have different pages here. So if I go about us, I have what we believe, I have some of the different things, but I've got Concordia groups, and I'm going to go back and forth to this and show you a couple different ways in here. But in Concordia groups, I've made a members only page of various groups that we have within our church. And like I said, this is where you can really start to engage and get feedback and provide value to your members. You know, it's one thing to have a website that just is never updated. People quit going to it after a certain point. But if you have a website that continually is that content curator that people want to be coming back to, whether it's to hear your new online sermon or to find out what the latest things that are going on with your ladies league or your men's league, or maybe the school, if you have a school, you could attach that to it. Here's a great way to do it. So you see that I've added these number of groups: pastor's confirmation class, church choir, women's Bible study, a summer golf league, fall bowling league, and I've made this members only. So again, this means it's private just for them. And let's talk a little bit about groups while we're here. You know, when I first started learning about Church360 Unite, this group function was one of the things I found most interesting and really one of the most useful tools. And I really do think it helps transform a just regular website, maybe something that you're getting from WordPress or, you know, maybe another free provider or things like that, into really a communication hub. So let's say you want to add a confirmation class and add that just for the people. So I'm going to set this one up that I've already done. I click into it, and I'll show you a couple different ways to get here. But when I open this up, this is a group page now. This is just for the confirmation class. And you'll notice how it's broken out, and you'll notice how the page changes from maybe a different page that I have on the website, maybe one of the more traditional pages. In fact, let's just do that. Let's go back to home, and let's just go to worship times. Okay, see, so this is pretty much a traditional page right here where it just lists things. And again, at this stage, I'm not going to go into how to edit this or anything like that. I'll do that when we're into the groups section. So let me go back to Concordia groups, or let me show you the other way that I've got this. Under ministries, I have different pages set up for children, for youth, for adult, for music. In my youth page, I have it set up where I click on here and I have some of the upcoming events within my youth group. But I also have pastor's confirmation class. And it shows it's a special place for parents and guardians of this year's confirmation class. We'll keep you up to date and provide you resources for helping teach your children Lutheran Small Catechism with explanation. So you see me down there as the leader, but again, I'm going to click back into it. It's going to take me back into my group page. And this is what, again, I think is so exciting and so useful, especially for making this the hub. You have a couple columns here where I show the table of contents for our confirmation class. I've got a helpful link right here to download the weekly videos and the clips. I also have some of our weekly videos included right here where I can click on them, and they're coming from YouTube, and I just click there. Right there, I've got a YouTube video. I'm going to click out of that. But it's a great way to curate a lot of content, and you can add files, you can add links, etc. But other things that make the group section unique. You've got a discussion board, you've got events, you've got downloads that you can have. You have your members listed. As an administrator, I get to edit this group and I get to set the membership settings. But let's go in here and click on, say, the discussion guide. And again, highlight how this can be used to really engage the people within your group. You know, with social media, we're more and more used to sharing things. I mean, how many of us are posting stuff on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and doing things like that all the time? In Bible study, we've been sharing for years. But here's a place on your church's website that you can have your members provide feedback and help each other out and care for each other. You have posts that can be discussions, prayer requests, announcements. You know, imagine this functionality and how useful it would be to communicate to your confirmation class. If you were the pastor or one of the DCEs or one of the people leading the confirmation class. You know, I can go in here, you see a few of these, you know, hope everyone has a good spring. We'll be getting back into the small catechism this week. Please watch your emails for further notice. That's just a discussion point. Prayer request. We had pray for John as he goes into surgery. So it could be something as simple as new lessons online this week. All you have to do is click on that, decide if you want it as a discussion, as a prayer request, announcement. Let's just say it's a discussion. Let's make it one an announcement. Click on it, post it. There it is. So that's for your group. Now they have this discussion board, and your members within the group can post into it as well. I love being able to engage like that with people. Let's see, I can also separate it. I've shown a couple ways to separate this out from going back to my About Us page. Let me go back into that. I'll show you how I get back into that, because I'm going to show you some event stuff as well. And I showed you my confirmation class, my church choir. Yeah, again, you'll notice this is private. This is members only. So let's go into another group and explore this even a little bit further. So here's my church choir group. So when I click there, now I've got the private group just for my church choir members. And again, I've got it spelled out, resources information for church choir. Please note summer practice schedules. I've got that listed down here. I've got our choir services that we're going to be singing. I've got some music resources. Again, I was able just to import some new videos and things like this. Let me show you how easy it is to edit this. Let's say I want to add something. I click on that left side of the screen to pull out the Edit tab. And I have in here, and again, I'm not going to get into all the details and the minutia right now of all this other things. We've got some great resource videos that go into that further, but there's so much you can do with it. But all I need to do is click into it. I have two settings here, the edit setting or the gear setting. Let me just click into the gear and show you that. It's either remove your cell or edit cell type. And if you edit cell type, it gives you the rich text format, a carousel, feed, a calendar, and it will show you some examples of some of those. But let me click back in here and edit this. And all I do is click in, tab down, gives me another thing right here. Let's say I'm going to do August. I'm going to add a new service and just throwing a date. I don't even know if this is a weekend, or let's do this one at 8:30 a.m. I think it's a weekend a.m. And above it, you notice the what you see is what you get bar that comes right up. So I can do further editing on here, highlight it, bold, italicize, underline, etc. Different things here and there. And then I just click out. I hit publish. And now that you see up there that was saved, and now you see some additional information. So let's say I wanted to add another video. I click edit. I'm going to go over here to YouTube CPH, just so I can show you how simple that is. And you can do this with any type of link that you have as well. But so I'm going to go here. I'm going to click into edit. I'm going to scroll down so that I have some room. I'm hitting the wrong thing. Let me just go. All right, let me just, this is what's called user error at this stage. Well, I'm going to add a video on top. So I'll do that. I'll give it a title. And then I'm going to find a new one here. This isn't quite the right area, but let's say I want to add a story. Just going to copy it. I'm going to take it back over here. Close that out for me. And then I'm going to go insert media. And again, I am just kind of rushing through some of this type of stuff because I just want to show you what this group site is capable of. But there's another one added in here. One of the great things about this too, I showed you the discussion. Now let's go to events and show you how events can be shown in this as well. I'm going to take a quick look here at my time because I want to make sure, okay, I want to make sure I'm not running too fast or too slow. So on the event page, I love this. Let's say we want to do a choir mixer for new members. Choir mixer. I just type that in. You see right here, this is going to the church calendar, but I could add other groups as well. So maybe it should be the church choir, and maybe it should also be the fellowship group. So I can add that. Then I just go down here, time and place. We're going to do it in the, we're going to do it at Bob's backyard. We'll still be socially distant. And I click down. I've got my calendar right here. We're going to do it on the 20th. It's in a couple weeks, 4 o'clock. And let's end it at 6 p.m. I can either make it an all-day event or thing. Welcome to new choir members. Barbecue. All right. How do we make this a hub? I can invite people to my event here. So I click on this, and I'm going to get into some of this member issue as well, because there's some great stuff. So I can go in and click the people from my group that I want to invite, or I could just select all. I love that. And we'll show you, we're going to talk a little bit about emails down the road. But I can also send out reminders while I'm doing this as well. I could do reminders an hour before the event, all the way to 12 hours before the event, a day before the event, to 4 days before the event, a week before, or 2 weeks before. Then I hit create event. And it's going to now take me to my calendar. And this is my group's calendar. So right off the bat, I have all my content that I need for this group right in one place. So you see right here, I've got a new one. Get your new music sheets. That's going to be all of next week. We've got a Zoom choir practice. So we can get together in the music room and start doing that. We've got a choir mixer that weekend. Then we can start loading things like our choir practices. And I'm just going to click up here again. A lot of this is very intuitive as you get into either the trial or you're using Unite currently. Just click over, you see our next month calendar. So I've got our choir practices, and I don't believe I've loaded anything else in there, but I could load all the weeks that we're singing, etc. What this allows you to be is that hub for your choir members. or any group that you have. They know they can always go back to the church's website, to your website, and find the information they need right at their fingertips. So groups are fantastic. I can add members to this as well. So I can have my list of choir members here. I'll get into some of the nuances of putting pictures in and things of that nature. That's really a Church360 members thing. But let's say I want to add a member. So I'm going to add a member. So I can go through and let's say Arthur Dean has decided to join our choir. It's as simple as just clicking that and adding him to our list. We can also invite members. So let's say there's someone that you wanted to, who's just got a beautiful voice, and you think, boy, it really would be great if Catherine, I had Catherine, let's say Ruth, if Ruth joined us, I can hit invite, and now she will get an email that, or some type of communication that she'll be invited. So again, we have this opportunity to do emails and things of that nature. We'll talk about that a little bit. And we'll also show you a brand new feature that is so new that I just found out about it today. That's new. So the other thing, groups are fantastic, but there's something else that's great, and it kind of relates to this. We've got our church directory here as well. So I'm going to go back to my pages. I'm going to go back to home. While groups can be made up of many different individuals from your church, what's the most important group that you have in your church? It's all the members that you have. And if you have a church management software system in place, like Church360 members, which is automatically integrates, or if you're using Shepherd staff, which we can help you integrate that, all of your members can be found here. And again, I put this in a tab underneath About Us, and it's a private only section that just shows our directory. So I've got this set up that click here for a searchable directory of our members. How great would it be, and how many times has this happened to you? How great would it be if you had, somebody's contact information right at your fingertips? You maybe you're out and about and you just need to get that information. You can go to your church website and click and have all your members right there. And it's a full directory of your members that you have listed. So you not only you see the family name, but you also see the kids' names, their address, their phone number, etc. And as I said, all of this automatically integrates into Church360. So I can also go in here and edit houses. I can update addresses. I can list or unlist phone numbers. So there's a lot of privacy things that you can do in here too as the administrator. So don't think all this information is out there just in the public. You're the administrator, and this is a private group session. So let's see one of these. Again, making this my communication hub. So I'm going to go in here. I think James. Let's do James. So if I click into here and I click James, well, what this allows me to see is everybody who's either named James, James Bell, James Collin, or Barry James. So let me show you how this works. I click into Barry's contact information. There it is again for me right off the bat. I have Barry's personal email, the family address where they live, and these are all made up, by the way. So I'm not giving out Barry's home information or anything like that. But it's great to be able to do all this type of stuff and have this available. And if I wanted to go in here and edit, we can edit profile, we can change name, address, things of that nature. Okay, I want to make sure I'm doing okay on time because I got a couple other things I really want to show. And I know I'm barreling through some of this very fast, but I really wanted to highlight this idea of groups and content curation as part of your ability to make this your communication hub. Let me just click out of that. Now, before I do that, let me show a couple other things. So when you're in the profile, you can also see things like the groups that they're involved with. So Barry's children are in the pastor's confirmation class. He's also part of the summer golf league. So if I click into this, I get into my summer golf league. I see who some of the other members are. You see, we're able to put in pictures. We're able to put in our schedule, the location of the golf league, things of that nature. So I hope that you've seen that we're able to do a lot of things that can make, first of all, very easy to do, why don't I do this? I was going to go into settings in my remaining time and show a couple different things. I was going to go into users first and show you mailing lists, because again, here are all my users from my website. These are all been integrated from Church360 members or Shepherd staff. Those are all the people that you see in my directory. But within this, I can also then develop mailing lists. And the mailing lists are great. And if you're like me, I mean, one of the things you want to be able to do when you're communicating is make it easy. So rather than go through here and have to highlight every single person on my list of users down here, I can develop a mailing list and do this. And you see that I've already started a couple of these. My 2020-2001 confirmation class. Again, as the administrator, I'm right there, but I've got this group right there of pastors' confirmation class. The choir, my church choir, my men's leadership group, my summer leadership group, or let's say I want to send a mass email to everybody. I can do that as well. And to create a mailing list, all I do is go up here and let's see, let's go church council. And I hit create mailing list. And now I've got my mailing list. And now I can select the recipients of this. So Alicia, Chris, George, and then I save it. And again, if I had them as a group, if I had built that as a group, then I could just do it straight like a pastor's confirmation class or the summer golf league or the women's Bible study. And that's where the hub aspect comes into play on a lot of this type of stuff. So when I click on one of these and I want to send an email out, let's see, then I go to, let's see, email actions. And I'm sorry, I've got click there. Oh, I just sent everybody, oh, it's opening my email client. And that's how it works. It works with whatever another window will open with your email client. And for me, it's Outlook. And I'm looking because I did not have my Outlook open. So it's being delayed. But it opens up your email client. It will then allow you to set up, type in your message, etc. All you have to do is type your message in and hit send. And the email is sent through something called relay.360unite.com. And this is great because it allows you to do multiple emails at once without showing up as spam. But we do put some safeguards in there for you. You'll notice if my email were to open, and it may be opening. Well, again, I don't want to spend too much time on that, but one of the things we do allow is the ability to unsubscribe, which really does fit with the new regulations. It's called GDRP, legal regulations and things of that nature. So I'm going to show one last thing, like I said, because this is so brand new, I don't even know that much about it yet. Texting. We have just today introduced texting capabilities to Church360 Unite. And again, this whole COVID-19 shelter in place, not being able to get together, there are so many different ways you need to communicate with your members now. And texting is a great opportunity. I mean, how many of us have gotten a text on our phone and we immediately go right to it? And maybe if there's a link involved, we then go to the link. So you could, within this texting capability, send out to your groups, to your church as a whole, to whoever needs to see something, and then lead them to the part on your Church360 Unite website that you need. So I know that I've gone through this quite a bit. I've got about 10 minutes left, and I want to leave that time for questions. I hope that if there have been some questions, you've been able to put them in the chat feature. I hope Peter's been able to answer some of those. I'm sure there'll be a few that we'll want to do as a general group. Like I said, the Resource Center has a lot of other training in here. I just wanted to show how you can set a few things up to be that communication hub and to curate some of that content that is so important to get out to your members. The bottom line, though, with Church360 Unite is in a few simple clicks, in a few simple, what you see is what you get type of edits, you can build a website that looks professional, that is designed, that now has features like a carousel to it that automatically scrolls through. You can include the contact information you need, everything. you can get a website that will speak to all the different members and communication needs that they have. And it will grow with your needs. And it is completely done in-house, so you don't have to rely on going to an outside firm to do it. The Concordia Technology Solution people will be here for a long time. We've been here for 150 years as a company. As Peter said, we started doing technology in the late 80s or so. We're going to be here, and we're going to be here to support you. So, you have someone that you can always contact and call up, and you don't need to learn a lick of code to be able to do this. So I'm just going to wrap up. I'm going to hand it over to Peter here in a second. Just want to let you know we do offer more of these type of webinars, and we'll do a few more that might go in depth on certain particular topics, or may do more of just the general broad overviews. Be looking for emails from us. I know we send out a lot of emails, but it's so important to be able to keep those emails coming to you so that you can hear what we're doing and know. We really do thank you for attending today. I know it takes a lot of time out of your day to do this. And again, I love seeing so many others that are doing this today. So good luck. If there's anything that you need, any type of support that we can do, we are here to support you. And don't hesitate to contact any one of us. We'll get you the right answer if we don't have it ourselves. And with that, Peter, I'd like to turn it back to you and see if we have any other questions or things like that.
We do. We have a number of questions, and I've answered most of them. Let me make sure I'm getting this onto the right screen. There we go.
That means
so
one of two things. I either didn't explain something enough, or I popped a question in your head and Peter was able to clean it up for me.
Well, I think I could see some of the wheels turning in some of these questions. Like, this
Good.
would be really cool if we could do this. So
Good.
yeah, I'm excited to share those. Before I get into the Q&A though, I do want to highlight a few things. Since we have so many people here who are not already using Unite, if you haven't already started a free trial, you can start it for free 30 days at 360unite.com. You have full access to the features. The only restrictions are on how many administrators you can have and how much file uploads you can have. I think you're restricted at 500 megabytes, which is still quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that is at 360unite.com. I will show the pricing quickly because we often get questions about this. This is all available on our website. We have very straightforward pricing. The discounts in there, you'll see a little asterisk. I didn't put in there what the asterisk means, but it means that you're already a customer of Church360 members or an actively supported Shepherd staff customer. And so you can see we've got a variety of different options. My recommendation would be to talk with one of our software consultants who can kind of walk you through whether it's the standard, advanced, or premium plans are best for you. Now, I will highlight the startup fee, which is $199 for each account. That gives you personalized onboarding training. It's all done through video chats and screen sharing, but it helps you get up and running right away. So let me put my information up there on the screen one more time, and then also our software consultants. We have a team of people who will talk with you about your unique situation, figure out which plan is best, figure out which features in Unite make sense for you to use, and which ones maybe you'll wait a little while before you try to introduce them. Something new like text messaging might be all exciting, and you say, we're gonna dive into that right away, and then we'll get into some of this other stuff after a few months, after we've got settled in. So now let's get into our questions, because I've got a number of them, and I'm going to start at the ones that I haven't answered yet. Let me go ahead and my screen just shrank on me, and now they are in a very skinny column. So I apologize. We'll give it just a second while I expand that and see it. There we go. So I have a question about anything on, oh, never mind. Kim has been commenting. We've known Kim for a long time. She's used Shepherd staff. She's recently moved to Church360. She was just talking about the support team and how if she has a question about anything related to Church360 or Shepherd staff, they get back so quickly. So Kim, thanks so much for sharing that. I know that you've asked them questions that are either problems or training. That's what they're there for, is to help you out. That's part of your subscription. All right. Darren,
let me just interrupt there real quick, Peter. It's nice to know that that training is here in St. Louis.
Yeah, absolutely. It is all local. The guys on our team, I shouldn't say guys, the people on our team are all here on the same floor as Ken and I. They're just a little ways down the hallway.
Yep.
And yeah, they're all local people. They've been working with churches for years. They're a fantastic team to work with. All right, let me answer Darren's question about text messaging. And if you follow our blog, 360unite.com/blog, you will see a post later today that goes into the details. But texting is being introduced for all paid plans, regardless of the level, at no additional fee. So it's a really great new feature. We're excited to share this. I recorded the training video a little while ago, and I'm finishing up the blog post, and we'll be sharing that today. So you'll be able to take advantage of that. And you'll be able to use it in the free trial too, if you wanted to try it. All right, let's answer some of these other questions. I shared some of these with the group, but let's see, there's a number of good things. So Lori asked about the different number of boxes across the cell. She asked if you could have more than 3. We use 3 a lot in our example designs just because there's a lot of nice symmetry with that. You can go up to 4, but more than 4 starts getting really condensed. And so we limit it to 4 just because we don't want to make it easy to have bad design decisions. Now, there could be some really good reasons why you'd want more than that. There's some ways you can kind of hack it, but our recommendation is to do 4 or fewer. All right, some of the other questions are related to users. Lori also asked, can multiple users access their page to keep it current? So the admin is not responsible for every ministry. This is going back to the groups you were referring to before, Ken. Yeah, absolutely. The great thing with groups is that you can invite individual laity or group leaders to be the admins of their group, but not the admins of your site. So the only thing they can update will be their specific ministry pages. And you don't even have to make everybody the admin of the page for them to participate. You could have individual users who are in multiple groups. Now, I work with our church council and our board of elders. Well, I lead our church council, so I need to be in charge of that page, but I'm not the leader of the board of elders, so I'm just a participant in that page. So you've got those different levels of permission.
Yeah, imagine how great it would be for your VBS team and the VBS leaders and then the volunteers. So you can add those volunteers into that group page. You can keep them up to date, keep them current with all the current news. And then as an admin, as they break out, you can delete them and move them out.
Absolutely. Yep, it's very flexible in that way. It allows for those changes that happen in the church all the time. Darren asked a question about how does Church360 members connect to Church360 Unite in terms of sending emails? Does the member have edit privileges to be updating any of their contact info? And that also kind of ties in with another question Lori had about bringing members in. So I'll cover those both briefly. If you have Church360 members or shepherd staff, like Ken mentioned before, you can sync those databases and bring all of your member information into Church360 Unite. If you're not using those, you can bring them in with a CSV import where you export them from whatever system you have and it'll quickly paste them in and you can add them to your database. Now that's just name and email with the CSV import. But then when you invite them to be users, your members can log in and update their contact information on your site and you can sync it with your database. Or your admin can go and edit it for them. So having that church directory is great, but if you have a member who doesn't want to log in, you don't want their information to get stale. So the admin can update some people's information and defer the rest to the people who are logging in. So you've got that kind of both and there where members can do it or the admin can do it and it syncs with your database. So it really provides that online church directory with the most up-to-date information. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Lori's asking, can this be integrated with non-Church360 accounting or financials? No, we don't have any integration outside of Church360 or Shepherd staff, just because that type of integration is so tightly interwoven together that it has to be true dedicated partners. So we do have integrations with Vanco Payment Solutions for online giving. We typically don't call that accounting or financials, but I know sometimes that's what you're referring to. And so that works great with Church360 members. You can easily embed that onto your Church360 Unite website. But on the accounting financial side, we have Church360 Ledger, which does work and interconnect with the rest of the Church360 suite. So we've got several different options there. All right, I think I covered most of those with those questions. There's a number of similar questions related to admins and everything else.
I'll tell you what, Peter, I'm reading some of these right now, and I love seeing how involved everybody was. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I answered some of them to the entire group, so you can see some of those. A lot of good suggestions there. We are just about out of time. So if you do have any follow-up questions, please reach out to me or one of our software consultants. We will be happy to get you the answers. If we don't know the answers, we'll find somebody who does. The other great thing is that our team of developers works right next to our software support technicians. So the people who are coding Church360 Unite are right here locally as well. So we've got an excellent team that's here to support you.
And I would say we're always looking for suggestions too, right, Peter?
Oh my goodness, yes. Absolutely. We've got that little eye that's there on the information center. If you have an idea, that's where text messaging came. We got a lot of people click the eye and say, I'd love to see text messaging in Church360 Unite. And they'd send it to us. And we got enough of those that are like, all right, we're going to dig in and build this fantastic new feature. And that is available in members and Unite because we got it from both of those kinds of customers. So that's why we got that introduced today, and we're moving on to the next things as well. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording for anybody who's watching not live. For those of you who are watching the recordings, thank you so much for watching. You're welcome to reach out and get any other questions answered. Thank you very much.